guys, I'm HP. This is Dr. Pink, and today we want to heal your problems in minor blues. One of the problems you might have, you think you're playing always the same, you know, like the typical stuff. And you want to go more in sophisticated stuff, you know, follow the chords and all that. That's what we're talking about today. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, and also join the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. So what are we talking about today? Let us music speak. You know, stuff like that. Playing a little bit outside the box, understanding what you're playing, understanding the chords which are played, and adapting your playing and hearing to the chords which are played and stuff like that. So let's get started. When you want to start playing outside the pentatonic box in any tune, it's really essential that you first need, you know, know the chords and the chord progression. Otherwise, you don't know what to do, which modes are played and stuff like that. So let's first check out the little chord progression which I created here. It's really simple. We have G minor. With G minor, one bar, so 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Then we go to C minor 7. And the C minor 7 is anticipated, but just a little detail. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play it 3 times. And now we're going to the final E flat 9 to D7 sharp 9. And then the whole thing starts over and over again. I'm quickly going to play with the backing track that you can hear. So that's the whole thing, the whole chord progression. Now we want to analyze the little chord progression and find out which modes are played, which arpeggios are played, and you can add this to your regular playing with, you know, you can play minor blues as always with, you know, you can play in this case G minor blues scale over the whole tune. That's a topic of another tutorial probably. I mean, there's so many out there which talk about exactly that. But we want to play a little bit outside the box here and go for the chords. So how does that work with modes? Many people think when you talk about modes, you have to play runs, you know, like you know, stuff like that. Well, you can do that, but that's not exactly what is the meaning of modes, or what is the sense of modes. Modes is a grid which helps you have an orientation inside the chord which is played. So when we have G minor, the mode of course is G minor, which will be Aeolian. So this will be the mode associated to the G minor, G Aeolian. Okay, but you also need to learn the grid where you're operating inside. So the grid will be the G minor 7 arpeggio. Why do you need to know the arpeggios as well? Because these are the notes which you play along, you know? You have the totality of 7 notes in the mode. And there we have the arpeggio, which are 4 notes inside 1 octave, okay? This is the root, the triad, the 5th, the flat 7, root, triad, and the mode is the root, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. So this is the meaning of learning modes. You need to know what is each note in relation to the chord which is played just at the moment. And these 2 tools help you to keep orientation, the arpeggio plus the mode. When we go to C minor 7, this will be the mode, C Dorian. Somebody would probably say, what's the deal here? It's the same notes as before. Yeah, that's true, same notes, but the relation to the chord has changed, because this note here prior, when they're related to the G minor, is the 4, and this note related to the C minor is the 1. That's a big difference. So we have the 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Okay? That's a big difference, and the arpeggio will be like this. Okay? So, now we have defined the first 2 chords. Now let's go to the E flat 7 or E flat 9. This one is now a little bit different. It contains other notes. And here we have the normal mode would be Lydian if it would be a normal E flat, but because it's a E flat 7, here with a flat 7. By the way, this is the blue note in the G minor blue scale. This note here, the D flat, this is the flat 7 of the E flat 7. And the mode is Lydian flat 7, so that goes like this. Sounds strange, but that's the mode which is used. And the arpeggio will be E flat 7. So 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 1. And the Lydian flat 7 is 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And now we're ending up with the last chord, D7, sharp 9. Here we have a D7 chord, same grid as before. Just move it down 1 fret, but a different mode. In this case, the mode is called Phrygian natural 3, which goes like this: 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. So you have now these 2 tools for each chord. Now, how to use this? The theory might seem a bit complicated, but the first use of modes in any situation is quite simple. You can create little motifs. Let's do something like this. When we have the G minor, we play this. this little melody line. I'll show you. And now what I did now, I took this motif and I analyzed it. This is 1, 2, flat 3, 1. Then I transposed it to C minor. Then we have to go for the 1 in C minor, 1, 2, flat 3, 1. So it's transposed, and this gives you a motivic kind of soloing. At the moment it sounds quite like an exercise because it's a first use thing here. It has to be an exercise. That's why it's called minor blues guitar mode exercise. It's an exercise, so you practice to move motifs through the modes. So we take 1, 2, 3 inside the mode and move it through the mode. So on G minor this will be here. On C minor this will be here. On E flat 7 this will be here. So you take the motif, go to the starting point, and then you play it inside the grid of the mode. In this case here, E flat 1, 2, 3, and on the D here 1, flat 2, 3, 1. So we're playing this motif and move it through the modes. G minor, C minor, back to G minor. E flat, D. As you can hear, I know it sounds like an exercise because it is, but it already has quite a leading line through the whole thing. Of course, nobody would play it like this because that's a little bit boring, but when you want to start soloing more motivic, then you can use this. Now you take these tools and you start to connect them. How do you do that? You take this as a first motif. Then, as I did before, probably on the next chord you just don't play it, just make nothing to not overload the system. Then you play the motif again, and then you probably then you play it on the next chord. And to not make it sound like an exercise, you can use the mode to connect it back to the other motif. I'll show you. So you connect the different parts with each other over the modes. Break. To C. Now I use the motif, and in between I use the modes, which was just currently the right one, to connect the motifs with each other, and then it stops sounding like a exercise. Well, still, but not so bad anymore. Okay, now you can also, to make it not sound so static, you can use these motifs and make slight variations, you know, rhythm variations, melodic variations, but still stick to the original motif, okay? And then you move it through the modes. can add stuff in between, you have a lot of time, but I recommend to not overload the whole thing. Now this sounds probably a little bit, too static, because when you start motifs on the root note, they mostly sound a little bit like exercises, because having the root note here is the best way to start, because you don't have so much problem with the orientation. Now it gets harder when you start on a different note than the root note. Let's take the 2 now, the 2 inside the mode. Then you get a complete different effect on your vibe. If you just sit, this is called the 9 or the 2, and then it starts to sound quite cool. Now it sounds completely different, just because I was sitting on a different note than the root note. The 2 or the 9 is a very common technique to make you sound quite open and lyrical. And then what I did now, I was just playing the 9 of each chord. So the 9 or the 2 of the G minor is here, this is the A. Of the C here, it's the D. The 9 or the 2 of the E flat is here, the F. And on the D, it's the E flat, because we have Phrygian natural 3, and here we don't have a 2, we have a flat 2. So it's not this one, it's this one, so you adapt it to the mode. And then when you make combinations with your regular playing, playing the normal pentatonic or blues scaly stuff, adding this stuff, just like this, you're gonna sound way more different. You have a lot of more tools to sound in minor blues. I'll show you. You see what effect it has when you just shift in your playing, and it's not a technical thing. The main task here is that you always know where you are. You have this grid of chords which are always running. You always need to know where you are, and you need to pre-hear where you want to go. That's the main task. It's not a technical task, it's a musical task, because the whole system has to be embedded in music. That's what is really important. You can also add, if you want to do a technical thing, you can also add arpeggios if you want. This is another way of connecting dots if you want, but maybe I'm going to make a specific tutorial only about that. You can use it as a tool. Yeah, I mean, that's really up to you, but I would really first start with just getting the thing done, that you know where you are, which chord is played, and you know which note you're playing in relation to the chord played. So when you start, you will not be able to play too complex stuff. It's already enough when you play simple motifs, but you always know where you are and you know where you want to go. And that's the main task in this tutorial today, that you start liberating yourself from always playing pentatonics and starting to really follow the music which you're playing and follow the chords. Yo guys, this was minor blues guitar blues guitar mode exercises. Entering the world of modes is a complete new vibe in your soloing. And as I already said, the main task is not to play, you know, the runs up and down. The main task is you have the grid of the chords just always passing, and you always need to know where you are, which notes you're playing in relation to the chord, to the mode, to the arpeggio. And that's not so easy at the beginning, so I found it quite cool to start it on only 4 chords. Well, there will not be much more if you just stay on bluesy stuff, but that's the main task. It's not about playing fast, it's about pre-hearing what do you want to play in relation to the following chord. That's happening more, is more a mental thing and not on the fretboard. Of course you need to pre-hear on the fretboard where these notes are, but that's the main thing about this tutorial today, and this is the first step to just enter this world. And I showed a few simple exercises, but of course you can do other exercises if you want. That's up to you. But anyhow, I created a little working sheet together with this backing track for you guys. It's available in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy if you want to download it. And with that you can start to practice and work out this stuff. And it takes time. It's not a thing which happens overnight, I can tell. But it's a first great step to open up a bright new world on guitar. And it's really, if you have enough of just playing minor pentatonics all the time, which is of course cool, but it can also be annoying after a certain time, then this thing is for you. And please become a member of the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. There you can also interact more with me directly or with other students. It's quite cool, even with the free account. Yo, if you love my channel, please share it to all your friends and to all your guitar pals. And me and Dr. Pink are saying goodbye for today.